So, welcome Ishita, to the call. And before we proceed, thanks a lot for giving your time. I did not know that you have not started your job yet, but still, thanks a lot. Other people are struggling. They have just started their jobs. They're still coming and
Yeah,
talk,
yeah.
coming and talking to
A
Alan.
lot of
But
my
still,
friends.
like even allowing your free time to do this is also a big thing for me. And again, congratulations and welcome to the other side. I always say. Other side can also be the darker side, but I, I will let the time decide that. Generally, most of the, in all probability, things are better once you become an alum. Of course, you will face some new difficulties which you have never faced before, but all for good. So, Ishita, there are a lot of people here. Why don't you introduce yourself before we begin our talking?
So hello everybody. I mean, everybody's taken time out of their busy schedule to be here. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Anshul, for calling me for this. It's just like a way to pay back, maybe.
Yes.
But yes, hello everybody. I am Ishita. I graduated this year out of ISB, class of 2025. I was a early entry applicant, so I applied back in 23, got my admit in 23, but joined in 24. Just a little bit about my background. I have about 3 years of work experience. I was working at Dentsu, which is an advertising firm. So basically, doing things into advertising and marketing is what I was doing before this. Just a short stint before advertising was when I was working for finance at Wipro, and that's about it. My undergrad was a B from Christ,
Guys,
and
small request. If I find you disturbing the call by not muting yourself, trust me, it will take me 2 minutes to throw you out. Please do not make me angry. It's basic etiquettes. All of you are professionals. Please put on yourself on mute and unmute only when you are talking. Yeah, Ishita, please go ahead.
yeah, no, just my background before that. My undergrad was a BBA in finance, but I've done my MBA in marketing. So if anybody thinks about switching can be difficult, or the kind of diversity you get into ISP, I'm open to all sorts of questions on that. And yes, you may proceed with the call.
Yes, so we will come to all that today, Ishita, and that's the reason I have called you and not someone else today in this call. There's an agenda. But before we reach there, just to let everyone know, Ishita was an early entry option admit, EU admit, so was I. It is not there anymore. So just to let
Yeah.
people know to know what exactly is EO. EO is for people who are working. They are for work. It is a working profession. It was a way to enter the PGP program for people who are working, but they do not have 2 years of work-ex. I mean, they will not finish 2 years of work-ex just before the classes are supposed to start for the next batch. So they need to wait. They need to finish 24 months of working and then only they can join. So Shita was one of them. Ishita, you were only 21 when you got in, when you must be 22 when you joined, which means you must be 23 right now. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to tell your age to everyone, but I think you're younger, you're on the younger side, so it's okay. Okay, why I am discussing this? You must be 20 when you decided to do all this, prepare for your GMAT and apply to ISP and all that jazz. Now, I talk to many people every day, and the first thing, even with 4 to 5 years of work, people are full of self-doubt. Oh, I'm not from a good college. Do I even have a chance? Do I have a strong profile? Oh, I don't have anything national, international, NGO, this, that, and whatnot. You did not, you are not from any tier one college, you're from Christ University. You are not even from some fancy company. You worked in Wipro for a few months and then you left to do some advertising agency thing, which was good. Still, you did not have any international, national, absolutely nothing. Where did you get the confidence to apply? And I answer this not to me, to all these people who are here, because I do not know the answer. I only helped you. I do not know your motivation, your thought process, and all that. Yeah.
Okay. So, see, anybody who's deciding to do an MBA, first of all, and when it comes to ISB, think it's the best option once you have a lot of work experience and you do not want to go abroad, right? That's everybody's mindset.
Yeah.
Abroad jana nahi, or India mein the best option you have is ISB, correct? So, I mean, I was working, and see, a lot of people do have self doubt. Even I had self doubt for a moment of time. But then, see, I spoke to a couple of people, and you spoke to a few ISB alums. I think that is one thing that really helps you, because not everybody has the kind of background that you think they have.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there are people who are from, they've played like badminton internationally, etc. But there are also people who come from the same university as you. So even if you're talking to people who come from the same industry background, who people for me were maybe people who were into advertising, then decided to do an MBA, got through ISB, got through good colleges, went ahead. So that sense of achievement where you actually look at other people who were in the same field, or people who were, or maybe have done the same things in life, and once they go ahead into the same thing, you get the confidence, okay, cool, इसका हो सकता है तो मेरा भी हो सकता है.
Yes.
It's not that tough. And I think another thing that gave me that kind of self confidence, I mean, maybe it's not that important, or I don't know the kind of weightage it carries, but was my GMAT score. Once I got a good
Yeah.
GMAT score, I was like, now I have a better chance at this.
Yeah.
I obviously could weigh my chances better in a way that I gave my GMAT during COVID, right? So I did have a lot of time to decide if I have to go here, I have to go abroad,
Yeah.
whatever. MBA तो करना ही था, so that wasn't a choice. I mean, I had to do it, and I was very keen on doing it right now because I knew for my own self, or the kind of person I am, I probably would not study at the age of 28, 30. A lot of my
Hey,
friends were
don't say
of this
that.
group.
There are people in that older than that preparing right now.
Yeah, no. And I was actually looking at them, and that it was so inspiring because I was like,
Yeah.
maybe at that age, I probably
I'm sorry,
would not.
I'm interrupting you. I just wanted to
Yeah,
add,
I know.
I felt the same because I also went to ISB at your age, and then I used to see older people. They used to absorb things better. They
They
were
used to.
able to make better use of their MBA.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, I mean, I just got the learning out of it is that I got to learn from whatever they've done in their life. And they've done things which are way better and way like more in number, more years of work, etc. So they've seen the world more than me. So it's a good learning from there. But coming back to the point where, it's confidence. So it's confidence by speaking to people. There's also like some sort of confidence where, you're working and you know that you're doing good at your work and you have a decent GMAT score. So all of these things combined come together and you're like, okay, cool, let me just give it a shot. And that's how it's going to be. I don't think so having a lot of self doubt is going to help you in this
Yeah.
case, because I mean, I'm a decent believer of manifestation also here. So when it
Yeah.
comes to having a lot of self doubt, maybe when you put it out there, maybe it just reflects on your application, right? So just give it a shot, get a good GMAT score, write your essays nicely, and I think it's a very very decent shot at ISB. And
Yes.
I don't think so. It's very very difficult to get. I mean, if somebody like me got in,
No,
I
I'm
don't
not,
think so. It's a
don't
difficult.
self-sabotage yourself, but I completely agree that I'm just looking at your profile, there was absolutely no spike anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
know.
but again, I also want you to tell everyone what was your experience in the batch, in the cohort. Like, did you find a people like you, or you only found overachievers and superpower kind of people?
Okay. So I mean, you're right. Somewhere we do undervalue ourselves.
Yeah.
Uh, once you go, matlab, once you actually start interacting with the 500 people cohort that I had at ISP,
Now, say
it
800. I mean, you were not able to
yeah,
talk to Mohali people. I was able to talk to Mohali people. I was in touch with them through Facebook, WhatsApp.
yeah, we spoke to Mohali people a bit. I think that was more during placements once they flew down
Huh.
to the
Acha,
campus.
they flew during your time also, or you guys flew there? Okay. Yeah.
We flew down, that's why. So I think when you're talking to people, I mean, a lot of my friends circle was above, my age group. But two things that helped me, I had separate friend groups when it came to ISB. So there were a lot of people who were above my age group.
Yeah.
And they were my classmates, and it was a lot of fun hanging out with them also. I mean, they also bring in a very, very different energy and a very different perspective when it comes to looking at a lot of things in life, I think both professionally and personally. And when it comes to a lot of people who, I mean, when you go to ISP, you're allotted quads, right? So you're living with certain people. I was living with a bunch of early entry applicants, and to be very honest, all of them had a very similar profile to me. Like either I can differentiate it in the basis of them being from, say, like a commerce business background, and some of them from an engineering background. But that was all. I mean, they also did not have a very big spike. I mean, I wasn't really living with everybody who was from an IIT. No, there were people who were from MITs, there were people who were from different engineering colleges. Possibly not every single person was from a tier 1 engineering college. So the cohort itself, I think, gives you a lot of new perspectives. I mean, the faculty is anyhow great, but that peer-to-peer learning, when it comes to that at ISP, I think it's a very, very big factor and a very big contribution that you get out of it. I mean, obviously, everybody here knows that the network is like invaluable when it comes to ISP. But the kind of people that you're interacting with on a daily basis, I mean, I was speaking to people who probably lived in a submarine for a year, have worked for 10 years in the Indian Navy, and have done then come to like do their MBA. As I'm also speaking to somebody who came from the same college, has the same advertising experience, just in a different company. So ISB can, give you all sorts of people in one place. I think that's the best that you can have in that 1 year of your life.
So I also completely resonate with what you just said, Ishita, because even at ISP, I had network, but my close friends remain the EO admits because I was in touch with them since 1 year. I will,
Hmm.
and at least I was in touch with very good friends with 15 to 20 EU admits. Let me tell you one thing. None of them were from IIT or SRCC, not even a single person. None of them worked in McKinsey, BCG, Bain or Mang. उस समय फैंग बोलते थे. Meta was not there. Facebook, it was called Facebook. None of them had any national or international level awards. None of them had any big spike.
Yeah.
I had my GMAT score was equal to yours, but there were people who had lesser scores than me. In fact, among early entry admits, I had the second highest score. Rest everyone was below 730. So I completely resonate with rest everyone as in at least 20, 15, 20 people I was friends with. So,
Hmm.
which means these are all people with exactly 2+ years and less than 3 years of work ex when they joined ISP, and they did not have any so-called spike, which people think is mandatory for ISP. So please, if one takeaway, I mean, if you want to go with one takeaway after this call is that this spike and all is not necessary. Please work on your GMAT and start building your application. Okay.
I agree.
Thank you. Now, please let me know how exactly was the placement scenario for younger people because you guys are going with less than 3 years of work ex, which is not always very positive. People say that it is easier for younger people to get a job, but not so young. According to me, this was my experience. A lot of opportunities were not open to me when I was at ISP just because I had very less work ex. What was the scene with you?
Okay, so uh, I mean, I can very honestly give you an entire
Yeah,
perspective and the market perspective because I was only applying for marketing jobs.
me
I
too.
did not sit for any consulting
I
company.
was one of the few who never applied to any consulting job, no matter how much peer pressure was there.
I was the person who did not put in my. There were 500 resumes. I went to McKinsey. I think 600 or something.
682
I
was
did
my
not.
was my batch number for BCG. I was among that minority 120 people. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah. So, see, to be very honest, when it comes to ISP marketing opportunities, I mean, at least in our year, Co24 said that their placements weren't as good as our year, at least. So, our year had better placements. When it comes to, see, I had a 2.8 is my exact number of work all right. There are a lot of opportunities that come for only 4 years plus work experience, but there are also opportunities that only come from a 0 to 3 year work experience. So I think the table is like decently weighed out there.
Okay.
When you're looking at companies that come in for a 4+ years of work experience, and they'll not look at any other say person who has say like a 3.8 also. But then there are also companies that have something known as flexible work ex criteria, right? Even if they're mentioning things like 3 years plus or 4 years plus, they can consider you. And the same things happened with me. I mean, Google came in for a 4 years plus work experience thing, and I only have 2.8, and I applied because I really liked the company, and I did have a shortlist from Google for the interview.
Okay.
So when it comes to flexible years of work experience, I think there are immense opportunities out there. You can look at consulting, product marketing, HR, operations, strategy, whatever. Uh, I do agree that there are certain companies that only come for a 4 years plus, background, and they will not budge from the 4 years plus. But that's also okay because it's not like you don't have opportunities. Uh, to be very honest, in our batch, there were a lot of companies that came in for a 0 to 3 years thing also, because they call it 0 to 3, but everybody at ISB has a 2 years
Two
plus
to
thing.
three. 2 to 3. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So I think it was overall very, very good and decent when it came to our batch at least. There are certain companies that you might be like, okay, say like L'Oreal is my dream company, but they only come for a 4 years plus thing. But which is also fair because that's the kind of work they're expecting. And if we do not have that kind of work experience, you will not get hired to a company like that. That's why they come with a cap of 4 years. But then once it's a flexible work experience, I don't think so it should be a problem for any early entry person to get in. I mean, at least the top consulting firms are what people are looking at. A lot of my friends landed up McKinsey and BCG. And to be very honest, a lot of them were early entry. Two of the people who are living with me, early entry applicants, landed the BCG job that came to campus.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for clearing that, Ishita. Now, just a word to all the people who are in the call. There are a lot of people in the call. There are many people who are attending an alum call for the first time, even though Ishita must be the 19th or 20th person in last 3 months. But yeah, the how it goes, we are talking, and if you have any follow-up questions that you want to ask, you can please put it in the chat. Once I am done talking, I will open it up for everyone. You can unmute and ask your question directly. But while we are talking, if you have any follow-up question, please put it in the chat. Krisha is asking any other role companies you can mention that had 4+ years of work requirement. I think there were many. Majority was 4+ only, in my opinion.
Not a lot, very honestly. I think when it came to marketing, L'Oreal was one with 4 years plus. This time Nykaa came for 4 years plus. But very honestly, I think it depends on year to year when it comes to these
Hmm.
companies and what
Yeah.
kind of people and projects they're looking at.
Hmm.
So I mean, this time the kind of shortlists that Nykaa had was everybody who had a, even though that was flexible, everybody who had more than 4 years of work was the only person who got shortlisted for Nykaa. Even L'Oreal for the same thing.
Okay.
Consulting companies did not have this criteria. Some of the finance companies also had a criteria of 4 years plus, or like a finance professional degree mandate. But that's for, I think, a lot of finance roles that a professional finance degree is something that they look out for apart from an MBA.
Okay. So one thing I want to repeat what I want to repeat what Ishita just said. It's great to know about what happened in the placements, but guys, trust me, it changes every year because Ishita just gave an
It changes.
example that L'Oreal came for 3+ years, right? In my batch,
Hmm.
I distinctly remember L'Oreal had specifically mentioned if you have more than 3 years, please do not apply. Yeah, they were very, very strict about it. They were so strict that a team from ISP, there were three girls. I remember the face of the girls. I don't remember the name. I don't know why. They won the national competition, national case competition by L'Oreal. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said that I think they were eligible for PPI directly if anyone who wins the case competition. They were the national level winner of case competition. They only took one girl. They didn't even interview the other two because both had three plus years of work ex. L'Oreal was that strict. Now Ishita is telling me the opposite. That happened in her batch.
Yeah.
Guys,
The
it
past
will, huh,
for a 4 years plus thing only.
yes, it will differ year by year.
It differs.
It will based on what is the requirement at that time.
Correct.
If they need young people to mold, or they need experienced people to act on a specific segment or maybe do some what a category marketing for a specific category. So they would want experienced people. So it depends on year by year basis. So good to ask, but not really a strong indication of anything. Okay. Sanjini is asking, where did you get placed? So Ishita, please tell everyone.
Yeah, so I got placed at this company called Head Digital Works. They have products like Cricket.com, A23, Rummy and Poker. So it's a real money gaming company. I will be joining in their growth marketing team. So I would be handling growth marketing for A23 specifically. And if it helps, Shah Rukh Khan is their brand
Brilliant.
ambassador.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing well.
I know. That's really, I mean, great, great segment to start your career with. And the kind of, I remember our mocks also, you were very keen on marketing. And eventually that's what you got. So great. Okay. Rishi is asking any IB VC roles for around 3 years of work ex people.
Yes, there are IB roles for around 3 years of WorkX. I think Jeffries came in for a very good role this year. IB role itself had a cap of 4 years, like anybody who has more than 4 years could not apply to that role.
Oh,
But a lot of finance and VC roles either require earlier finance background
hmm.
like a finance work before, or you should have something like a CSE, FRM, ACCA, any name any of the financial professional degrees. Like a lot of them do seek for it. When I think when it comes to a very big, like a very in the league IB firm, that's what they look at.
Okay.
Uh, Hi,
Uh,
Ishita. So, if I may go ahead, Anshul.
yeah, Rishi, please.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, thank you for your answer. But yeah, I just wanted to ask a few additional things. Like, I myself am from Christ University BBA Finance and Accountancy, and I've also done my ACCA. And I have currently 3 years of work ex at D Shaw and working in financial research here. So I just want to understand, I understand there are a few front-end roles like Synergy Consulting hired for project finance, and that is what exactly do. But are there other companies that had good packages that is not very clear from the placement report and other stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, if I may go ahead, do you have any other question
No,
based on
Ishita, please,
this?
please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sure. You mentioned Synchrony. That's there. That's true. There's also I think Symphony, Synchrony. There are two companies, two financial companies that came
Synergy,
to campus.
synergy.
Synergy, sorry. Yeah. There's
Also
also
Kepler Canon for finance consulting. They came again for younger people.
Kep- Kepler comes in. There is Jeffries that came in. There was also I think D Shaw that came in. It's not a very front end role when it comes to D Shaw, but they also came in. For other IB roles, I know a lot of people who are joining. Uh, I mean, the finance club president, the guy who was working with us, he used to work at JL Financial, has now joined Kedara Capital. So that's another company that also was there for them to work at. And rest, you have a lot of financial consulting roles. I wouldn't really say IB in specific, but there are also financial consulting roles that come on campus. So you could look, I mean, if you're looking at finance as a whole, you could look at that as well. A
Yep.
friend of mine who also was from D Shaw, she was a senior manager, 8 years of work experience,
Hey,
but she didn't work.
Namrata was also your classmate from D Show.
Uh,
Namrata
yeah,
Singh.
yeah, Namrata has lesser work ex, I think.
Yeah,
The
Namrata
other
was
friend,
around 4 years of OPEX.
correct. So yeah, there are a lot of and D shows like great to be carried into any other financial company when it comes to that. So if that helps you or your case, it's good.
Yep. Thank you. So that defines like contrary to the perspective, like finance is pretty much good roles at ISB as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
See, you will not
Definitely.
hear a lot about finance and marketing, both at ISP, because the cohort itself is focused on consulting and second product management. Ishita, correct me if I'm wrong. That was the case during my time.
Thought it not. Uh, I
So that's
think to
the
be
reason
very honest,
you hear lists about marketing and finance. Doesn't mean it's not there. People who want to go there, they go. Yeah, Ishita.
yeah, yeah. ISP's branding as a whole is done as a consulting school,
Consulting
right?
mecca of the country. Yeah.
consulting school only. They are trying to change it because this year there were a lot of financial like opportunities that came in, but the name
People still
itself,
want to go to consulting.
yeah, definitely.
People are happy to go to KPMG just to get a consultant tag. I know such people. People from my batch joined at 13 LPA just to get the consulting tag at KPMG. Anyway, I shouldn't say these things on camera. Someone from my batch also might watch it someday. Okay, guys,
Yes,
for the sake of relevance, I am prioritizing the questions first, which are related to pre-MBA experience
I
of
agree.
Ishita. Because trust me, once you go reach enter the college, you will have innumerable people to help you out. Okay.
Yeah,
Dravya is asking, no, Dravya, please don't ask this question. Everyone will have a question for the interview panel and tell you what to ask. It doesn't really, I mean, we don't need to discuss that. Okay. Uh, Viksit is asking a very interesting question. I will answer it first because I think I can answer it better. Then Ishita, you can answer it as well. Is it possible that having no spikes in your profile is okay for an EO or YLP, but a spike is expected for applicant not applying through EO or no YLP? Viksit, please do not mind my words. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. A spike would be expected more out of younger people because they do not have anything. I mean, they do not have much to show in the work. If you do not have much to show in the workx, it will be expected generally, it will be expected that you mask it up through some spikes. For older people, you have your workx to talk about. You absolutely do not need any spikes. Please, I mean, have some common sense. And I hope you don't mind. I already apologized before I made that comment. Okay. Manan has finally asked a very relevant question. Can you talk about your application? Like what helped and few things that stood out in your application? Yeah.
okay. So my application, I early entry application, right? Uh, I don't really know how many essays that you all have this year. I had only two to write, and I did not have GPT. I've been specifying this to a lot of people who've reached out to me on LinkedIn just to ask, how did you write your essay? I did not have GPT. GPT did not exist back then,
Yeah.
so I wrote my essay on my own. And I think, to be very honest, uh, after doing somewhat assignments on GPT and then working along with AI back when I was working, it's easy to figure out a GPT essay, all right. So please do not GPT your essays. I don't think so. The admissions committee or people who are reviewing your essays would be very happy to read a GPT essay, right?
Also,
I
it's
mean, you're
very
applying.
easy for anyone who's reading a lot, very easy to say
Yeah,
it's AI generated.
yeah, it's AI generated. So for my application, I mean, it's obviously a lot of your work experience details and everything that you've done. Make sure that you have a good person to write your letter of recommendation. Can be your manager, anybody who's worked with you decently a lot, to at least specify what are your maybe future plans, or what are the things that you'll be looking at, why maybe you can be a fitted ISP. I'm not really sure of the questions that my manager also got, and I don't know if they change every single year. But just make sure that you have a good person to write a good letter of recommendation for you, or who can fill it out for you. Because I remember during my interview, they had questions on the letter of recommendation
Just
that was
wanted to
written.
add one thing. It happened with
Yeah,
Ishita, it has happened with other people as well, but it is still very rare. Generally, questions are not asked from LOR in the interview. Might happen with Ishita, would have happened because lower work X, so not a lot
correct,
of things
correct.
to ask.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. So that was there. Just make sure, I don't think so it'll hurt to have like a very good letter of recommendation anyhow. Improves your chances. And then it came to essays. I had two essay questions that I had to write about. Somewhere around 400 words was the limit. Just make sure that you're not, make sure you're answering what the question is asking you, be it your 5 year 10 year plan, be it how do you plan to contribute to ISP.
Those
Just make sure
questions are
you're
not there anymore, unfortunately. The questions have been, they have made much more difficult questions, mean much more abstract questions. Yours
because
was
these
really
are,
good.
yeah. Because I now that I think of it, these are very easily, like you can answer these very easily through GPT, right?
Yeah,
So they have to do something which is different.
correct.
But That's how I went by. And I think one thing that will also help you more is reading more about the school. Because if you've done decent amount of research, it will reflect both in your essays and in your interviews.
Yes, yes. Guys, note it
That
down. I keep barking this in the group. Please note it down. I'm so glad you said that.
decent research will help you. Be it research. I mean, if you're bored and you don't want to read, just go on YouTube. There are 100 things about ISB.
Yeah.
There are people doing podcasts. There are podcasts that are started out of ISB. Just go look at them, understand, hear,
PGP Chronicles,
Google.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
The
So
podcast.
you will correct. So you will get to know how things go and everything. I mean, a batchmate of mine only has started another podcast where she's getting a lot of people from different work ex backgrounds, and it's in collaboration with ISB itself. So I think if you mention things like this in your essay, in your interview, they at least know that you've done decent amount of research to get into the school that you're actually looking at. So I had done a lot of research before writing my essay, and then another set of research when I was, preparing for interviews. So that is something that will definitely help you.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh, how did you phrase your post ISP goals, Sanjani?
I
Just
see
to
my post.
just a minute, sorry to interrupt, Ishita. Guys, I'll be prioritizing the questions which are related to your pre-MBA journey. Because trust me, this is more. First, you should worry about getting a job. Someone is asking how the campus will be allotted. Trust me, this is the
Oh,
least of your worries. Okay. Please worry about first to get a campus. Okay. Ishita, please
it's
continue.
yeah, yeah, sure. So I mean, post MBA goals. Maybe it's a thing that a lot of people can be like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to be in a certain sector. I don't know if I want to be in a certain industry. Uh, for me, it was very different. I had tried out both finance and marketing, and I was
Yeah.
very sure that I could do marketing. And that is something that also helped me, craft it in a way. And also, I think at least during my interview, Anshul helped me because when you have to say something out loud and you have to back it up with a certain, I wouldn't really say data point, but a certain something in your life that does go or reflect that way. So I had already switched from finance to marketing, and I did want to build my career up in marketing ahead. So that was something that I told them that, early on in my life, I've decided and I've made this decision. And I'm very sure that, post pursuing an MBA, I want to, stay in marketing for at least a good 3 to 5 years, and then post that eventually build my own business, if that is a possibility, or, have my own startup at the end of the day. So my post MBA goals were not something that I will become Mukesh Ambani the next day. So please don't write all of that. I don't think so. It's a possibility. Um, but yes, like keep it more realistic, I would say. Just look at, after doing an MBA 3 to 5 years, what are the realistic things that you could be possibly looking at? And it can be something very simple. I mean, you don't have to, write something which is extremely out of the box or anything. I know people who wrote that they wanted to be a management consultant and they landed up a consulting job and they're very happy about it. So it's not a rocket science kind of deal when it comes to what is your post MBA plan.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I thought
No, no,
about it
no.
in the
It's
back.
completely, I completely agree. As long as you know that you'll be able to back it up during the
Yeah,
during the interview and handle all the cross questions around it, convince them that this is the right goal for you and how ISB fits into this entire plan. I think it is safe, whatever you are writing. Okay, Yash has asked finally a very good question and a relevant question. Did they ask you about why ISB? Having lesser work ex and young age, why not applied for IIMs via CAT? Why ISB only?
yes, they did ask me why ISP only. They asked me why don't you want to go abroad. Uh, there were tricky questions like your dad is doing a business. Why do you want to come to an MBA school? Also, but the question where it came to why don't you want to go to IIMs, because I have lesser work experience, and age also played as a factor because back then I was 21 when I gave the interview. So the thing is that I told them back then is I come from a BBA background, right? So I already have the basics of business when it comes into play. And there's also a lot of opportunity cost associated when it comes to a 2-year MBA program,
Yeah.
right? A 1-year MBA program is something that lessens your opportunity cost, because after that 1 year you can get back to work.
Yeah.
So I told them all of this. I think my BBA was something that I could tell them that I already know the basics. So I know the first year at IIMs is something where you have to go back to those basics and understand that. And once I've already studied it, why should I put in the kind of time and energy into an IIM campus, whereas an ISB campus can offer me something which is very different? And just like back this up with a lot of, once again, when you do research on ISB, you will get to know the kind of case methodology that they teach you with, the kind of practicality they have in classrooms, and also the fact that you will be sitting around people who have a lot of work experience, right?
Yeah.
So that contribution into classroom is something which is invaluable, and you probably would not have the same thing at an IIM. So technically, it's just you telling them how you fit into the scheme of things at ISB one, and second, telling them. I mean, they know how ISB functions. They just want to know if you've done your research well enough to tell them why you want to go to this
Yeah.
particular school or institution.
Just
That's
to make a nuance, just to make your statement more nuanced, your
yes,
why ISP answer should never be generalized. It should be
yeah,
personal
yeah.
to your post MBA goals. Yeah, ISB has professors from all across the world. So what? How will it help you? ISP
Uh,
has case competitions and something like that. How is it relevant to your post MBA goal? ISB has
correct.
this feature. Hence, this is how it will help me. ISP provides this. Hence, this is very much useful for my goal. The answer should be personalized, not generalized. Don't give generic answer. They know. They already know, yeah, they are alums. They know what ISB has to offer. You're not giving them any new information. Tell them this feature excites me. This feature is useful to me. This feature will immediately help me in getting what I want. This feature makes it better for me when compared to IIMs or any other school. And as a combination of all these, I think not only I'll be able to achieve what my post MBA goal is, but I'll also be able to contribute to the cohort in these ways. Make this answer right now. Abhi se hi likh lo. There will be no time before the interview. Ask Ishita. Last time she was stressed out. so, so please.
two, two days before my interview. But yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't take inspiration from that. You should
Yeah.
prepare right now.
Yeah. Okay. Dhanush is asking, being someone with lesser work how did you go about prioritizing the topics you wanted to mention in your essays? Good question. Did you also write about certain instances from your undergrad? Yeah, Ishita's most of the things were from her undergrad only because she did a lot of projects in her undergrad. But please continue.
Yeah, so for my essay, I mean, the topics were very different from
Very
what Anshul was
simple
mentioning.
topics. Yeah,
Yeah, very simple topics. I
very
mean, my
simple topics.
topics were 3 and 5 year post MBA, like what is your goal
They
and
have
how.
cancelled it. They have made it optional now.
Oh, that's optional.
Yeah, and there
And
are three essays now. That one is optional, and the first two, at least the first essay is very complicated. They are asking for major key milestones of your life while narrating your professional and personal strengths and weaknesses.
yeah,
It's
I
it's
heard it because a very close friend of mine went to ISB this year.
haha.
She's PGP, matlab, she's out like
Normal
class of
PGP.
20.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So she also did the same question. She asked me, I'm like, मेरे time पे तो this
हाँ,
question
तुम्हारे
wasn't
टाइम
there.
बहुत बहुत chill questions थे, बहुत easily हो गया था.
Yeah. So that was one. The second one was, how would you define peer-to-peer learning and how would you contribute to ISD?
Yeah,
That's again a very simple question that I
yeah,
had. Uh, so I did have a lot of instances from my undergrad, from project works to handling group projects to doing, cross-functional collaboration, teamwork, etc. at my office. That all was there. I had like a venture for a small period of time, and I think that also helped because that was the kind of project that I was doing with my friends outside of college, outside of work. Uh, might call it as an extracurricular activity or not, but that was something that showed decently enough on both of my essays actually, when it came to peer-to-peer learning and also a 3 to 5 year. goal, because that was something that I could substantiate with the fact that I would want to have a startup of my own someday, because this is a venture that I was running at that point of time. So that was all that I had at that point. In some other undergrad instances for you all, or maybe for me also, at that point, were a lot of these fests that you have, that you've managed along, if you were part of any team, guest relations, logistics, uh, if you were heading any department in your undergrad, shows a certain sense of leadership. And leadership is a very, very key point that ISB is looking at a younger and at a later age as well. People with more amount of work experience can probably justify it through the kind of position that they hold. But people like me, who had lesser amount of work experience, could only justify leadership through something that I had done in my undergrad, or maybe something that you're doing at work. If you're working at a startup, you probably are into a role which is more closer to the leadership, as compared to a very big MNC. But yeah, things like these can definitely, improve, and improve your profile overall. I don't really know, but I think leadership was also a very big question that came into my interview. Like, how would you uh, have you led a team, or how would you actually manage conflicts in a certain team or something? That was also a question I remember. So yes, things like this also matter. So, like, mention your undergrad instances. You can mention all of these fests, etc., things that you've led, or things that you've done in life which you think reflect something about your personality. I think it's a good thing to mention.
Hmm. Uh, Both Rishi and Krisha is asking, how did you answer? Why not family business?
So they had asked me, why don't you want to do family business? Now my family business was in the line of logistics and transportation, all right. And I just told them that that was something that I wasn't really interested in. Again, going back to the fact that I was interested in doing something in marketing. If I join my family business, I probably would not do that, and I would be looking at more of operations, etc. And I did not want to go into that particular industry. I mean, if I had the option of family business, I probably would not apply to ISB, right? I did not want to go to my family business. And hence, I told them that that was not the industry I was looking at. That is the kind of role or the kind of industry that my dad is operating in, is something that does not excite me. And hence, I want to, learn more, do an MBA, get to, learn different perspectives, learn from faculty, understand how the world is working, and then switch to something in marketing, a brand role, or something that goes around. And they seemed pretty much convinced with this, and then they asked me who's going to pay your fees, etc. So for that, you can mention that there's a bank that can give you a loan. That's what I said, and that's all.
Hmm. Rahul is asking, how did you get such a high scholarship? So, Rahul, there's nothing you can do to get a scholarship, like nothing actively. It's nothing in particular you can do, except it's a need based,
Correct.
then you will automatically get. Uh, I'll tell you how people get scholarships in the next call. I have specifically just people who have not registered for it. Friday night, we are having a scholarship call just to make you understand how exactly scholarships are awarded. Okay. Ridhima is asking, what about people with 2 to 3 years of work ex who have strong brand names on their CV but no extraordinary achievements? Ridhima, we just discussed this. I mean, basically a decent or average profile. She has already decided her profile is average. Okay. With a decent college and educational background. Why are you using so many adjectives? Who called your college decent? Who called your CV, क्या है? Average profile? Why are you calling yourself average? I don't, anyway, not really I cannot really change the sentiments at such a small call. And educational background and work experience at reputable companies viewed. So many adjectives. Ridhima already knows what is average, what is decent, what is reputable.
Yeah.
Guys, Ridhima, let the AdCom decide na what is reputable and all. Uh, Ishita's that one guy who was supposed to be Ishita's batchmate. I mean, he applied with Ishita, was in McKinsey with a 715 GMAT. and he was rejected after interview. So while there was another guy with who worked in TCS, and he was Ishita's classmate, he went with 12.5 lakh scholarship, even higher than Ishita. So yeah, reputable, decent, extraordinary, all these things let the outcome decide. Please, you do not decide on all these things. You decide if you want to apply or not, and if you
Yeah,
have the conviction to apply or not. We already explained it in the beginning of the call. If you want me to explain again, I can. Please let me know. We will move to the next question. Okay. Uh, Deepak, how did you compile your strengths and weaknesses which made a positive note in the application, and was it aligned with your post MBA goal? Hmm.
okay. So strength and weakness was something that we did not really put into our application. I mean, there was no such question at that point
Yes.
of time. But during my interview, so first of all, my interview was like an hour long, all right? Now, a
Yes.
lot of PGP interviews that a lot of people who sat with me had a 15-20 minute interview.
No, EO people will always have longer interviews.
I had a 1 hour, 5 minute interview, I still remember, and I was the last person of that day interviewing.
Yeah.
So the panel was anyhow tired. So I have a very different interview experience altogether.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, they did not have a question specifically on my weakness or something. They did try to question me a lot on the fact that why do you want to join ISB at this earlier stage? Like, how do you decide that at this stage you want to get into ISB? And about my strengths, they did not come to the question as a direct question, like, what are your strengths or something of that sort. But they did ask me questions based on my application, like, if you want to become a brand manager, what do you think will make you a good brand manager, or what do you think, what are the things that you can contribute to ISB, uh, what do you think is going to get you to help, or what is that that's something that's going to help you to do like peer-to-peer learning at this campus. So that's when you will say your strengths. They're not asking your strengths directly, right? They're not asking you what is your strength, so I can be like, I'm a creative person, I'm hardworking, I work well within teams, I can do cross-functional collaboration, etc. No, they asked me it in a very, very different way. But your answer is still the same. Your answer is you talking about your strengths. Why can you be a good brand manager? Why can you be into marketing? So you do give it a both quantitative as well as qualitative answer. Your qualitative things can be, yes, you're creative, and yes, you understand data and creativity at the same time, and then you give an example. When it comes to this, say, like, I worked at Densu, I was handling campaigns end to end, and then you can tell them certain, like, this is the brand you are handling a campaign for, and that's how it went from, say, like, a XY percentage to a Z percentage of growth, etc. So that's how you tell your strength. Your strength is being creative, your strength is you can handle data well, and then you can tell them, substantiating the same thing with an example. And as Anshul mentioned, I think examples are something which are very, very important because they personalize your answer. Now, everybody can be hardworking and everybody can be a creative human being, and maybe everybody can work well within teams. But once you give them an example of, say, your work X or your undergrad or something that you've done in your past life, that is something that will substantiate it for them. It's simple to think of it that way, I feel.
Okay. Time taken for the application from scratch to your satisfactory draft, then from that draft to the final submission. Good question.
I shouldn't be this honest with you all, but I submitted my application on the last day, last minute.
No, submission,
If
everyone submits on the last day only. No one is brave enough to
yeah,
submit.
yeah, I started writing. I mean, I decided to start writing my essays 15 days in advance. After a decent amount of procrastination, I wrote a draft 10 days in advance.
But you did your
And
research for a long, long time.
I did research, yes. I spoke to people, yes. I spoke to a few friends who were also applying with me. I actually went to ISP with my best friend. So my best friend also got into ISB. We had the same interview panel also.
Yeah, back-to-back
So
interview. Just before you, she
yeah,
was interviewed.
she was the first person to be interviewed. I was the last person to be
Acha, okay.
interviewed that
But the
day.
panel was same, if I'm not wrong.
It was same. They remembered each and everything.
Nice.
So that's there. So I mean, if somebody's thinking that two people from, and we have very similar backgrounds and we worked on very similar projects. She was also from marketing. So if you all are thinking that two people of the same background or people with similar backgrounds don't get in, that's not the case. They do get in.
Yeah, who said that they will not get in? So,
I think there was somebody who reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, I have a few friends who are applying from the same company. And maybe, is there a possibility that this can reduce my chance of getting in? I was like, I don't think so. That's the
this
case.
is this is very new to me. So every week, there is some myth that I bust, okay, in the group. Every week people come with new ones. एकदम new जो कभी नहीं
I,
सुना 7 सालों में. This is new
I,
to me. Who is
yeah, I think you should write this on the
I am
group.
writing. Trust me, there every day I come every week there is a new myth that floats, and it is they say that it is being floated by consultants, like good people who are established people. And they told that this is what it happens, this is what it happens. And anyway, no problem. Let's not talk about the myths, let's talk about real facts. Okay.
Yeah,
How did you optimize your non-essay parts of application? Danush is asking. I mean, your job responsibilities, job achievements, awards and achievements, extracurricular. During your time, there were hobbies also. You were supposed to write hobbies as well. Now they have removed that part.
correct. I don't, I mean, optimizing it, I think filling out these details took me 2 days in
Yeah,
total.
because there is
One,
hardly any space to write.
correct. There's hardly any space to write it. And once it comes to your job responsibilities, and I think there was a achievement section for what have you done in your job. The job responsibility, I mean, I took it from the JD I had from my job, right? Those are your job responsibilities. And the kind of achievements is whatever you've done throughout the job, what you think is something that is worth mentioning, you can mention it. Hobbies, you can mention whatever hobbies you have. I mean, I think the hobbies I had mentioned were the hobbies I actually have, which is photography and then traveling a bit and trying out new cuisines, etc. So, but I think this time there's no hobby section altogether, so you wouldn't have to go through that anyhow. But rest of it, you don't really have to. I think the time taken for it can be like a day or two max. That's all. Just make sure you send in that email for a letter of recommendation early on. I know a lot of people from my batch also had a problem because they wrote that email pretty late and then the date of admission goes by and people do not receive LORs. So that is something that creates a problem later on. But if you're actually like actively looking at round one as an application, then you should just make sure that apart from the essay thing that you are going to refine and write again and again maybe or like have multiple drafts of it, but the other parts of the application can be done in a day or two. I don't know the current thing, but at least mine I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
in a day
Other
or
parts can be done in day or two. Not a problem. They have also removed hobbies, but they have now added a complicated thing called resume. And questions are being asked directly from the resume in the interviews. So it becomes
two.
very important that the resume, and that is you only have to write one page. So it becomes important that you frame it properly. So they reduced one thing, they added a new new
New.
part to make you more stressed.
Yeah.
Anyway, might not be very relevant to you, but in your experience, what would be the primary reasons people get rejected, do not receive interview invites? Yeah, Shita, I mean, you can share your opinion.
Uh, Very honestly, I mean, the friends who I applied with, I mean, my best friend who I applied with, we both got an interview invite, and we both got in. I know somebody who had come for the interview the second time. When you have that, when you're waiting in that panel, right?
Yeah.
Before going for your interview, there was somebody who was from ISRO and was rejected a year ago from the PGP and had come back for an interview. And he himself said that there were certain things that were lacking in his application.
Hmm.
Uh,
Like what?
I think he was mentioning something about the kind of like lack of clarity that he had in his essay versus
Hmm.
interview.
Hmm.
So he made it through the application phase, and then it came to the interview, right? So if you're not very thorough with your own application, that is
Yeah.
something that might not sit well with the interviewer.
Yeah.
And that's what he said, that last time he was questioned about things that were there in his application, right?
But he could
But
not.
answer them well enough to like, I wouldn't really call it justify, but to like communicate it to the interviewer well enough that that's him only who's written the application, right?
Hmm.
So I think that amount of clarity on your own application and the research that you have about the school are two things that can make a difference when it comes to your application or interview as a whole. And that's like one experience that I have, because I spoke to that guy and he told me that that's what had happened with him last time. So this time he had come better prepared for the interview.
Okay. Now we can take the other questions if there are no more questions related to. Uh, which one should I pick up? Something which is relevant to everyone. Apart from academic activities, what other activities you did in the campus? Good.
What is the question again? I
Apart
am
from
sorry, I couldn't.
it's okay, it's okay. ISB teaches you how to zone out. Apart from academic activities, what all activities you engaged in at the campus, like clubs or competitions, things like that?
Oh, okay. So ISB has something which is known as the GSB, which is the Graduate Student Board, right? And they have different committees within that. I was part of the Marketing and Communications Council. I was their external media coordinator. So that was a lot of fun, because this year ISB did an entire rebranding thing from logo to uh, getting their website revamped, etc. So I was doing brand shoots with a couple of agencies that came to ISB. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm part of the website, so you can see my face up there. Yes, so I mean that was there during our year. I was also part of. You can be part of a lot of professional clubs that come to campus. I mean that are on campus. I was part of the marketing club, business technology, and a lot of people are part of the consulting club. I was one of the few who wasn't part of the consulting club,
Me too.
and these clubs, great, and these clubs have their events throughout the year. So as it goes, is professional clubs are very active till placement, and post placements the social clubs take over. So apart from academics, apart from being part of these professional clubs and attending talks by people who are working in the industry, other things that you can also do is I mean I had an event of tiramisu making by the baking SIG. So there's a baking club that was there. Then you have sports. So ISL is a very big thing when it comes to ISB, and you can be a part of a number of sports. I mean you have all facilities on campus, so that's there. Then they have their flagship programs. They have fests. So there's leadership summit. There's Advaita, etc. And a lot of people. I mean, case comms is something that you can do if you are very interested in the corporate case comms, college case comms, etc. So you could probably do case comms as well.
Noreen, yeah, please. Continue.
No worries. So that all is there, and obviously you have friends around campus. There are innumerable parties that happen on ISB campus, from having a Bollywood night to giving a midterm to next day playing sports because there is intersection sports wars happening. You will probably not just spend time inside the classroom, but there are a lot of different activities that are going around. You just have to like prioritize what you want to do, because one thing that ISP's taught me is you can't do everything. It's impossible to do everything.
Yes. And also, like what to do, like what are the things you should say no to immediately. That also ISB teaches you in all
Yeah.
personal and professional realms. Okay. Samek has asked a very good question. Did you also try applying to companies outside of campus placements? If yes, what was your experience?
Okay, so for me, I did not apply to companies outside because I had I don't know, faith that I will get through the placement process itself. I know a couple of people that did apply to companies outside because those companies were not coming to campus as a whole, and those people really wanted to give it a try outside. So yes, you can give it a try outside. I have friends who landed up job offers outside because those companies were not coming to campus and they were very very keen on working for them. So yes, it's an extra step that you will have to take. There is a little bit more of effort that is required once you're applying off campus. But yes, you can definitely apply off campus, and if there's a dream company or a dream job that you have that is not coming to campus, you can definitely apply outside and find a job. I don't think so it should be an issue.
Okay. Let's check other important questions. Any particular suggestions you can share for someone who's looking to move to marketing from automotive sales in terms of application and interview? Also, if you can share about things to do at campus for the transition to marketing. Yeah, this is a valid question. So Pratyush has asked.
Uh, yes. So basically, from sales to marketing, I don't think so. The shift is very very difficult.
Yes, it's easy.
I know it's easy. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy. This year, the guy who went to HUL had a B2B sales experience, and he's landed the marketing job at HUL. So I don't think so. It's that tough. Things that you can possibly do at ISP when it comes to showing your intent towards marketing is you can join the marketing club not only as a member but also there's a core team that exists for every single professional club. You can join it as somebody who's part of the core team, somebody who wants to help the cohort and yourself to get like into the marketing area as a whole. Then apart from this, they have their own events. Like BTC Club has a product conclave, Marketing Club has a separate event. If you're part of any of these events, or if you take up a lead role in any of these events, the thing that shows on your resume or something that shows your intent towards marketing is this. You can do marketing case comms if you want. Case comms are, or specifically in marketing, is something that can also show your intent towards getting into marketing. And definitely electives in marketing, your so-called major in marketing is also something that can intend towards your entire thought process that you want to get into marketing. And that is something that can show the interviewer that okay, this person has been studying a lot of marketing electives, this person is you know looking at events that involve marketing, sales, etc. And then I to be very honest, from shifting from sales to marketing is not very tough. So I think all of these things on campus should definitely help you, bring it out in your resume and post that. Looking at placements, I don't think so. It is going to be very tough for you to land up anything in marketing. But
He
as I
has
chose
asked
his,
a very good question. Were you ever intrigued to move from marketing to other specialty, considering the exposure you got at IT?
uh, not really, because I got a decent amount of exposure. Operations is something that I had never studied before in my life. It was something that gave me a very, very new perspective for sure. Uh, I was doing digital marketing before, and now I'm going to be part of growth, which is more on acquisition and retention. So this itself is a decent shift from the previous role that I was doing, because this is going to involve more amount of data, because retention marketing is something which is very different. But when I was on campus, honestly, I did take electives that were in finance, that were in operations, and IT. So IT and marketing are my two majors, and the amalgamation of marketing and IT is something that I really like. Like AI plus marketing strategy is something that I thought that I would really like to go into at this point of time. So yes, I wouldn't say there was a complete shift, but I would say there was a decent amount of new perspective that was instilled when it comes to getting like all of these electives in place and understanding how the world outside is functioning. So that can help you. Yes, I did not want to move to consulting if that helps.
Okay. Pratyush had actually asked that question from move to sales and marketing from an
Hmm.
application and interview perspective. Means if he
Okay.
wants to move to marketing from automotive sales, which is his current role, how exactly he should portray this in his application and eventually in the interview. Because you did kind of same thing, Ishita, though you already moved to advertising agency uh, before going for an MBA, but still you had to justify shift from finance to marketing in your application and eventually in the interview because you were not only a bachelor's in finance but also you had work in finance as well. So what did you do in the application and interview?
Sure. So, I mean, my justification from finance to advertising shift was somewhere where I mentioned that, that as far as I remember, that I mentioned that I wanted to do a balance of something which was creative as well as had like something which had data involved. Now, data is something that my finance was decently substantiating evidence for, because that's what you do when it comes to finance. But creativity was something that I said that I would get into because of the new venture that I was doing, one. And then, second, and that's a decision I took once I joined the advertising firm. Like, I knew that I was a creatively bent, like, I had a creative bent of mind. So, that was something that would help. Now, when it comes to advertising, digital marketing, people know that it's not only creativity, but it's also a lot of numbers, also a lot of data that is involved, right? So my finance bit of it justified the data. My new joining over here was something that justified the creativity, and the creativity that I would probably want to leverage further when it comes to a marketing job, right? And marketing itself is something which is not only a very, I would say, only something that does require creativity, but also something that does require numbers, also something that does require. And I think you have a sales experience, right? So sales and marketing is something that people say if you know how to sell, you would be able to market a product decently well. A lot of people go into sales initially just so that they could land up marketing roles later. So maybe when it comes to your sales background, you can say that with whatever company that you're working with, sales you've probably, I don't know if you have, but maybe if you've collaborated with the marketing team anyhow, which I think a lot of sales people do collaborate with marketing teams, right? So that is something that can add an edge to your application and say that you would be looking at marketing in the future, because once you collaborated with them, you kind of understood what is the work that they're doing, and I don't know, liked it, disliked it, whatever you want to say, and then maybe further explain how you liked it. Or if you've done anything in your undergrad, that if you have an internship in marketing or anything that is in your undergrad. I had a marketing internship in undergrad, so that is also something that helped me during my interview as well as my application phase. So if you have anything in your undergrad that goes to, even if you are marketing an event, you can bring it out in your application as well as your interview for it to be helpful, or you to justify the stance that you would be looking at marketing in the future.
Okay.
Thanks, Ishita. Your solutions are really helpful. And the connect that you shared about marketing, I mean, I could do with the marketing thing. We have a marketing team in our regional office as well, so that connect will be really helpful. Thanks a lot.
No
Guys,
worries.
one request, try to prioritize the pre-MBA questions like what Pratyush asked. International exchange, campus, trust me, I will be the first one to tell you everything once you get an admit. I will get Ishita again just to talk on those things. Just because it should be relevant to everyone because international exchange is not relevant for people. 10 to 15% people only go for international exchange. Okay. Trust me, the focus should be on to get an admit. Then you can decide about these things. And then take a call if you want to accept that admit or not. There are people who get an admit but do not join ISV. But right now, first focus on getting an admit. Okay, Megha is asking if you were to speak about your weaknesses in the interview, how did you elaborate on this? How did you prepare to answer this? Yeah.
Okay, so I think this answer now differs a lot. I mean, once I re-prepared this answer for my job interview, it did not look anything like the answer I had prepared back then for
Yeah.
my interview.
But for you, it
Because
was not a topic in your essay anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't a
For these
topic in my
people,
essay.
they have clearly asked a weakness.
Also, they have to write it in the
Yes,
essay.
yes.
Oh, got it. Got it.
Imagine how
Uh,
difficult the interview can be if you're explicitly written about a weakness, things they can do in the interview with that information. Right?
I mean, that's actually true.
Yeah,
I mean, right now when I was comes to like a job interview or something, I was definitely looking at things because I have lesser amount of work at. So I probably did not portray it as a weakness, but I just said that maybe when once you have lesser amount of work experience, and if maybe the company is looking at somebody who has higher work experience, it can be a weakness for you. But then again, you need to justify how you're working on your weakness
yeah,
or how you've worked on it in
very
the
important.
past.
Yeah,
Can't state your weakness. I mean, it can be as simple as that you are scared of public speaking, but
yeah,
how are you actually working on it? I
yeah,
mean, I remember during my ISB interview, I prepared something like this only. It was public speaking, and then it's because you have lesser work ex, it's difficult to say no into an organization. But then you have to put into perspective how you're actually going to work on this specific weakness. If you say public speaking, you have to say something like, okay, you're working on it in a specific way. Either you've joined a club, or you're like taking up more public speaking tasks, or you're probably delivering more presentations in office. And once you go to ISB, you can probably join Toastmasters or something to work on public speaking as a whole. So that is something that you should mention. One is your weakness. For sure, you can mention your weakness, but do mention how are you planning to overcome your weakness, or how is it that you are planning to move away from it a bit at this point of time as well. Like how you're planning to overcome the entire weakness. Just don't leave it at the weakness. That's all.
okay. Uh, what I lost my thought. I was going to say something. Yeah. For weakness, also do not talk about your strength in the garb of weakness when they ask about weakness. Which means do not say, "Oh, I'm someone who takes a lot of work and do not know
Yes.
how to say no to a lot of work. I'm someone who overburdens myself with lots of responsibilities." They are not stupid, first of all. Talk about a genuine weakness that you actually have, and then immediately tell what you have been doing to overcome it, as Ishita mentioned. This is also advised, strictly advised to do the same for your essay one as well, because they have explicitly asked about weakness. Okay, I'm glad we discussed this. Thanks for asking this question, Megha. This was a great question. What about striving for perfectionism? Is that a weakness? Please, Sela, I just mentioned the same thing. Do not act smart. What does that even mean, striving for perfectionism? Please be real, talk about a real weakness you have, and then talk about what you have been doing to overcome it. Okay, guys, please ask questions. I'm glad the way this conversation is going. Very, very relevant discussions we're having. Procrastinating cause you want to be perfect seller, even if you have genuinely this problem, do not say this in an interview. You might not know who it will rub in a wrong way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I am not
procrastination is
judging you, Sela. You might be having might be having this issue, but not advised to say this. Yeah, Ishita, you're saying something.
no, I was saying procrastination is a genuine weakness for sure.
Yeah.
For perfectionism, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It's
Striving for perfect, it sounds very fake and very made up. So I'm not doubting your intentions at all. But see, at ISB, you don't need to be honest. You need to be smart. Okay. Honesty you can keep for the rest other things in your life. But ISB, you just be smart and get a seat. Try to get a seat. Okay. Who someone has asked, people with 6 to 7 years, they find any problem in consulting? I think you're a new joiner. They never face any problem. The last LM session 2 weeks ago was with two people, Devesh and Muninder, both were classmates of Ishita. Both had 7 and 11 years of work 11 and 7 years of work respectively. Both got into Accenture strategy consulting. So no, it's not a problem at all. Maybe McKinsey might not would want to take you, but in my batch, they took people with 10 years of work also because they wanted someone from that background and they found someone. Yeah,
correct.
Ishita,
Uh,
yeah.
I think even this year's consulting, at least MBBs, what I saw, is that they are not really looking at the years of work experience you have, but
Okay.
the kind of work experience you have.
Okay.
The projects that you worked on, I mean, they've picked up people from oil and gas, and they've also picked up people who
Yeah,
worked at
Munir
a
was
startup.
oil and gas. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they've picked up people who worked at a startup before. They've picked up people from operations. They've also picked up people who were like a hardcore analytics background or something. So I think it was a very project based thing more than a years of work limitation that we had this year. And I might be wrong, this might change every single year. But even in our batch, there was somebody who had like a 9 years of work experience and got into BCG. So
Yeah, even my batch had one guy with 6 years of workings. He was the CA, CFA, I guess, and he got in with BCG very easily. Okay. Shuffle is asking 1 year program versus 2 year program. No, Shuffle, it is not a buffet where they allow you to choose. If you have less than 2 years of work you're only eligible for 1 year. If you have more than 2 years, you're eligible for 2 years. You do not go and choose. Okay. Safe score, for any school, there is no safe score per se, but you should get around average. And average right now
hmm.
is 675. So try to get it around 675. When I say around, I do not mean you should be having more than 675. Even less than 675 is okay if it is kind of not very less. Okay. Guys, please keep asking relevant question while I search for something more. There are so many questions, but both were post MBA, but still, chalo, I will ask a few. Uh, what else? I think we asked everything. How did you position your shift in the industry from finance to advertising? We already covered it in detail, so we will not. Yeah. Any challenges people with higher work like 6 to 7 years face any problem in terms of placement? Pratyush, just to let you know, I think again you're joining it for the first time. Uh, I have mentioned it a lot, many times that from Ishita's batch, they have separated the placement for more than 6 years of people. Anyone with having more than 6 years of work experience, their placement happened a month in advance. Ishita, anything to add on
Right.
this information?
No, but what you're saying is actually right. They actually started with the placements for people who had, I think, more than a 5.56 years of work ex. Uh, a month and a half before we actually started with our placements. So there were a lot of people who had more work ex who were actually placed by the time our day one of placements also came.
Yeah.
So that was something that was done for them, and I think the school's been doing this just so that they could focus on like across categories of work ex, so that nobody like feels like possibly neglected, or maybe companies are not coming in for other roles or maybe for more amount of work experience. That's why I think the school's taken this decision. So it's not uh, a problem as such. I don't think so. People with 6, 7, or even people with more than 9 years of that I knew of and I know got offers from campus. So there
Uh,
was no problem.
Got it. Megha, can you unmute yourself and ask the question because you are bar asking why she did not apply for consulting. I mean, I do not know why you are so fixated on consulting. Consulting is not a only dream that people have. You should apply to the field where you know you will go and flourish, where you know where you will go and do better than others, where you know the competition will be kind of easier, not too much for you, where you know your personality and your key strength will align. Why are you asking this question and again and again? Are you feeling peer pressure of joining consulting post MBA? Please unmute and
Hi,
let's
Anshul.
discuss this.
No,
Yeah.
there's no peer pressure as such.
Then
This is just wanted to know because I have heard you and Ishita as well say that a lot of people apply in consulting.
correct.
So I wanted to know what is the reason why she did not go, because the
Because
usual
she already
tendency.
had a genuine interest for marketing. She already had experience in a marketing agency. Why shouldn't she continue in marketing? Tell me.
Definitely. No. I just wanted to know, did it ever like occur to her or something? Just wanted to understand on a broader spectrum, nothing else.
Okay. Ideally,
Okay.
you shouldn't change your plans just because other people are doing it, because it's called herd mentality. Herd mentality will not lead you anywhere. Finding a job in consulting from ISB is, trust me, very easy. Very, very easy.
Very, very.
Very easy. Accenture itself hired 100 people. I do not know how many people Deloitte hired, and McKinsey, BCG, Bain added together must have hired how many? 870, 80, Ishita? It's
Yeah.
very easy
So,
if you want to get into consulting. It's more difficult if you want to hold your ground and do something different there. Yeah, Ishita, please.
so okay, I'll be very honest with you, all right.
Yeah.
My best friend went for consulting because she wanted to be out of the placement process.
Okay.
Now, as it might sound to you all, the placement process takes a toll on you all, right? When you're doing a lot of preparation, you're giving so many interviews every day, 100 CV
It's
edits, etc.
horrible. You are using very soft words. I know
So,
people who had to take therapy, psychiatric therapy, not even psychological therapy.
I think it's pretty tough. And to be very honest, I held my ground. I got placed on day two, right? I wasn't placed on day one. And it takes a lot in you to wait for that 3 more days for day two to come and then sit for placement and also apply to selective marketing roles only when there are 100 consulting companies and only 30 marketing companies that come all together, right?
Yeah.
So it gets pretty difficult that way. I know a lot of people who got into consulting because they were like, we just need to get done with the process and we will enjoy, maybe we will just do consulting. They were not even looking at consulting. You're right, it's herd mentality. You just need to get done with it. Everybody's going to consulting, even I will go to consulting. But you also have to see, is that why you entered ISP? I mean, at this point you all are looking at what are you going to write in your essays and what is the kind of goals that you have post MBA, and is this what you would want out of an MBA life? At that point in placements, people forget about whatever they wrote, whatever they want to do post placement. They
Yeah.
just want to get done with it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tough that ways if you're looking at it. Honestly, if you want to get into consulting, there is nothing easier.
Yeah. Yeah. KPMG will at least hire you.
A lot of companies will come hire you. I mean, they're hiring. I shouldn't be using the term, but they're actually hiring in trucks and going. So it's a truck full of people that is going to consulting companies. It's not that tough to get in.
It was actually difficult not to apply and so many companies came in because it started with consulting, consulting, consulting. And then I was like,
That's
oh
it.
God, I can't apply to this. I can't apply to this. And I was scared that at the end I will not have any shortlist. Then at the end, all marketing companies came. I was lucky. I was like day one started and by 10 a.m. I was placed. So I have not been through the difficult days, but I have seen with my EO people, I was the one supplying them with lots of things which you need when you're not getting placed. I wouldn't say much, but I know what you mean. It can take a toll on you. And one more thing I wanted to add, Ishita here and for everyone, this is from my
Mhm.
personal experience. For class of, I have shared it with group people many times, but there are many people who are joining this call, such calls for the first time. I'm sharing it with them. For class of 2023, I was in Mohali. They had invited me for
Mhm.
the resume review of that batch. I was there in August 2022. I spent two nights, 3 days there, and of course, I was mapped with all marketing people. I mean, people who wanted to get into marketing post MBA because I am a marketing guy. Trust me, I'm not kidding. 80 to 90% of the people were Roni Surat bana ke aaye the, telling that, am I doing the right thing? My friends are telling, why are you not doing consulting? My friends are saying, तुमको तो आराम से मिल जाएगा consulting में job. Why are you not doing it? Am I doing something wrong by not applying to consulting? And even one of the smartest ladies in that class, she was also the GSP, MCC president, Marketing Council president for ISP Mohali campus. She had great marketing experience in multiple small stint in many startups. And I talked to her for 1 hour. She also invited me to a party. You know how when alums go, you take care of alums. So she took me to parties and all. And I told her, why are you so worried? You will get a marketing role. She still applied to consulting and got herself stressed out. And she told that after 2 to 3 months, after 1 or 2 months, I think I was in August. So by October, placement started, October, November. She told me I still applied because I didn't want to lose out on anything and this and that. Eventually, she got a job in PNG. Even someone who was as good as a marketing enthusiast to get a job in PNG, she was also a victim of this peer pressure. So trust me, you can save yourself a lot of mental agony if you do not fall into the peer pressure and just hold your guard कि नहीं ये मेरे को आता है मैं यही करने गया आया हूँ आईएसपी और I will do good in this field. I know I'll do better than other people. Stay with it. It will, trust me, it will make your life at ISB much easier. Okay.
Definitely.
Wabho is asking a good question. How are aspirants with unconventional family business, such as catering in my case, as their work ex perceived in admissions and placements? What should one keep in mind while prepping for admission process? Very good question, Wabho. Do you want to say anything on this, Ishita? Then I'll answer.
I mean, I obviously did not have a family business background. I do have family business background. I did not work there. I had a friend who had his own startup. It was called Top Dog, and he had sold it and come to ISB. So he had, I mean, that was his business, and he was selling hot dogs basically in 2 3 cities in India. And he had come in. I just remember I had asked him. I mean, like, why did you decide to do this once you had your own business, or like how did you get through this entire thing? The only thing he told me that I think during his interview, I mean, obviously, an interview for somebody who comes from a corporate is going to be a little bit different as compared to somebody who's coming from a business kind of background, because the questions that they're going to ask you are going to be, I think, you all have seen a more ground reality when it comes to getting revenue generated or facing problems in the business and dealing with teams. I mean, somebody who's working in the corporate has the same problem. You're dealing with teams, it's a problem. But once you're in a family business, I remember for him, questions in the interview, what he had told me were about how did he get his team to work, or how did he, like, spread around that kind of motivation that they have to work for him, and what was the kind of like revenue that he was generating, and why did he decide to, after doing this kind of business, come to us, like what is he going to get out of this MBA that he's probably going to go back to his business, or implement the learning from this MBA into his business. So that are the kind of like questions that were asked to him, as far as I remember. And I mean, if there's anything else, I bet Anshul has like a lot to add on this, because there are a lot of people who come from a business background.
Yeah, so Vaibhav, there is nothing unconventional about it. A family business is a family business. It can be catering, it can be steel manufacturing, doesn't matter. It will be seen as a family business. Uh, Vaibhav, because you do not have, let's just say, corporate work experience to back you up and to talk about your job responsibilities and things like that. So they would really want to know what marginal value you have created in that business. The family business already has a legacy, right? It may be 10 years old, 20 years old. Your dad, your grandfather must have started it or running it successfully. What value did you bring? What was your marginal contribution? When I say marginal contribution, means had you not been there in that family business, what they wouldn't have achieved. What extra did you bring? That is one. Generally, family business people don't go for an MBA. What is your motivation towards an MBA? Be very clear about the incidents which prompted you to think, oh, I should have a structured business education. Oh, I should have done something like an MBA. Oh, I should have a great network, which maybe I'll get at ISB. These realization with strong anecdotal examples to give, you should be keeping ready, both to include in your application and in your interview. That is second. First, your marginal contribution. Second, your reasons to do your MBA. And third, also very much clear about your post MBA plan that, okay, you have already done so much in your family business. Now you want to do an MBA. What after MBA? Will you leave your family business? If you leave it, who will take care of all this? And if you want to join a job, then why do you want to join a job? Why don't you go back to your family business and contribute with all the learnings from an MBA? So these three things you should be very, very clear. Be Your numbers should be on your fingers, your revenue, your profit, your PAT, your EBITDA, your projections, your 5 year plan, your 10 year plan. Everything should be very, very clear. Number of employees, your burn rate, सब कुछ सारे numbers clear होने चाहिए. I think this is a good start. If you're able to do all this, I think you will be in a good space. But don't worry, there's nothing wrong with applying with a family business. I can give you so many examples who have gone to ISP with only family business background or with a mix of corporate and family business work mix. Okay, great. Now the actual questions are coming. I'm enjoying it. Ishita, I hope I'm not really holding you. It's 10:30. We
No.
will not delay for much long, but we can spend a few more minutes. Yes, guys. Anything else? Huh. Actually, Pratyush was asking
Hmm.
difficulty for 6 7 year work ex people in placement only for marketing. What, like, whether marketing roles only for younger people or they were equally available for older people as well?
they're available for older people as well. As I mentioned, I mean, this year's for L'Oreal Nykaa was above. There are
Huh.
also a lot of B2B companies that come for marketing, sales,
Huh.
and also like B2B marketing as a whole. So some of them did prefer younger people. Some of them took a mixture of both younger and older people. Like if
Okay.
somebody had a sales experience, say about 8 years, and that person was working at Biojuice, so he got placed at a B2B company. I'm forgetting the name. It's actually a CRM tool that's existing. It's like Clever Tap.
Salesforce,
Another app. No, no.
HubSpot.
Uh,
These are the only two
no,
CRM I know because I only worked on these two.
no, no. There's Clever Tap. There's also one more. Oh, Mo Engage. Yes, it's a company
Acha.
based out of
Of
Bangalore.
course, MoEngage is a ISB is a favorite of MoEngage.
Yeah, yeah. So Mo Engage was there, and they took three people. Two had a work ex of somewhere around 3 to 4 years, and that one person had like a 8 years work experience. So
Just to
I think
add to this, Pratyush, the most
yeah,
reputed marketing job that is HUL in my senior batch, because HUL PNG only take two, three people,
yeah,
right,
two
Ishita?
people.
Two people.
And
I'm
this
not
year, two and PNG took one. That's all.
okay, so only two and one. So for my senior batch, they took someone with 6 years of work ex. For my batch, they took someone with not sure how many years of work ex he had, but it was definitely 5 plus. That guy looked older, that's why I'm just saying 5 plus. I'm not sure how many years he had, but actual PNG, which are the best marketing jobs in the campus, they don't discriminate. I think they prefer a bit of experienced people, if I'm not wrong. Uh, Also, AB InBev was a big marketing recruiter during my batch. They took people from EO, early entry admits like me. They took people with 2 to 5 years of work. They took people with 10 years of work as well. So
Yeah.
मार्केटिंग में तो बिल्कुल भी सोचने का नहीं है. आई मीन इजिली हो जाएगा, कंपटीशन इतना कम
Yeah,
होगा. Real marketing people will also go to consulting because of all this, which me and Ishita just discussed. So just stick to your plans and you'll get in.
yeah, yeah.
Deepak is asking how difficult it is for engineers with approx 5 years of experience to switch to finance roles. This is difficult, in my opinion, if you do not have done anything in finance before.
See, for finance, what I saw, I mean, at least the pattern in my batch, how it went is that either you have previous finance experience, closer to finance experience, it can be financial research, it can be financial consulting, taxation, etc. Anything works, but something which is closer to finance is something that they value. And another thing that I mentioned, so a lot of the roles came in with the requirement of having another professional finance degree. So can be a CA, can be a CFA, ACCA, FRM, etc. All of this, because that's the kind of nuanced role that they're coming to hire for. So I'm not really sure if I know engineers who had initially worked at JP Morgan as a financial analyst, then come to ISB, then went into a finance role again. But then again, they were an engineer, but they worked in finance. So there was something which had a financial experience for them to qualify or to get shortlisted for a finance company again.
Okay. Gaurav is asking how personal you can get in your essays. And if you ask me, you can get as personal as you can. People have discussed about demise of their closed ones. People have discussed about their ongoing divorce. People have discussed about multiple sclerosis of their sibling. People have discussed about their own clinical diagnosis of anxiety, depression, and bipolar disorder. What else? These are the personal things that I have worked with people. Ishita did not have to write anything because her topics only were not personal. Unfortunately for you people, the topics are personal. So you can go as personal as you want to. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Ishita, do you want to add something on this?
No, I think when it comes to being like getting very personal, this very honestly, my friend who had applied this year, I
Mhm.
think she also had the strength weakness question
Yes.
that existed. So I think she wrote. I mean, she had asked me, and I just told her, I'm like, I don't think so. It should be that big of a problem for you to get personal in an essay or in an interview. So I remember she had discussed about, I think, taking therapy with her interviewer as well. There was a question on the weakness, and that's what she um, I mean, about saying something like this. And that's how she actually went ahead and told that she took therapy for something which was related to some XYZ event in her life. So I don't think so. Getting very personal is a problem in an interview or an essay. But just like make sure that you can communicate it well. That's all.
Yes. Okay. Sandeepan is asking GMAT engineering mail to secure a safe chance at conversion, guys. Conversion doesn't depend on GMAT. कितनी बार बोलूं? It's just less. For your batch, the weightage would only be 20% for GMAT. Still, if you can score more than 675, it will be better. It can still not be called as safe by any means. Please लिख के रख लो so that you do not ask this again. Okay. Can a pair work in data science consulting help one in getting MBB strats shortlist later? Yes, it will help because it will give an indication that you have already worked in that field. Even if you do not have it, it's absolutely not a problem because consulting is a very background agnostic field. They are more looking at your achievements and your contribution to your current role, to your pre-MBA role rather than your field. But yeah, if you have something similar, especially if you're on the higher side and they're looking, let's just say they have a lot of oil and gas projects lined up and you have worked in oil and gas, they will take you. Of course, if you
Yeah, yeah.
pass all their criteria of all their case-based interviews and personal interviews and things like that. So it depends also a lot on what are the cases that are lined up for them and what kind of profiles they want at that time. But yeah, you will have a slight edge if you have already pre-consulting workets. Okay, Sumit is asking any additional companies apart from MoEngage which came for sales operations, revenue operations. Yeah, I remember Sumit, AB InBev came during my time for sales operations role. Hired in big numbers. One guy who was early entry admit like me, he's still at AB InBev. Why am I saying this with a surprising face? It is very rare for ISB alums to stick in the same company for 7 years. For me, it's been 7 years. He's still there and is very happy because he has grown a lot in the company. So AB InBev is what I remember from my time. Ishita, you can share your own experience.
So AB InBev did not come for recruitment during our year.
Okay.
The company did not come, but we had Diageo, which is another Alcobev company that came in.
Oh,
They
okay.
came in, yeah, yeah. So they came in for
Did they
again. They
bring
came in for
free drinks during pre-placement talk? They didn't?
they
Okay.
came for a 4 years plus thing. So they also had a cap. 4 years plus only is what they had,
Okay.
and they had come for a sales and a P&L management commercialization role is what they call it, but it's more or less a sales operations role that they came for.
Okay.
So yes, Diageo is one company. MoEngage is there. There are also a lot of other B2B SaaS companies that come in. A few ISB founders did bring in their company. There's this company called Everstage, operates in the US and I think some parts of India. So they also came for a sales operations role again. So there are a few companies that came in for sales operations. Everstage did not have any sort of years of work cap or parameters, whereas Diageo did. MoEngage did not have any. As I mentioned, there were people who were hired from both a higher work extent and a lower work extent. So I don't think so. It should be. But there are a lot of companies that come in for a sales operations role, so shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. Uh, any tips for GMAT? How many months of preparation you take and things like that? It was your first attempt only, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I did my See, I just had the advantage of COVID to prepare for GMAT, right? My
Hmm.
last year of college, like my third year BBA, was online. So I just had that time that I could prepare for GMAT very well. And I think, as somebody mentioned, about procrastination to perfectionism. I procrastinated a lot during my GMAT prep. But if you're actually looking at it, I think one thing that really helped me was doing mocks. So please do not leave your mocks like. And I know this is the new GMAT, right? The Focus Edition one. I gave the
Still,
older
mocks will
version. So
always work, no? Focused or
yeah,
non-focused.
yeah, but mocks will work anyhow with whatever you're doing. So just make sure that you're doing mocks. Make sure with whatever score that you're getting. Just don't become like under or overconfident. Like, oh my god, I'm getting like a 7, 10, and that's how I'm going to ace the exam. Just don't become overconfident on it, but do decent amount of mocks for you to get that level of confidence that you can go to the exam center and do it well. That's all. So mocks is something that is going to help you a lot. I mean, once you're done with entire, like covering the entire syllabus and doing whatever practice sheets for everything, just do mocks and it will help you better.
Resources you used for GMAT prep?
I was doing the top 1% thing.
Okay.
So I
It
think a
worked.
lot of people.
Did it work well for you, top 1%? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, I mean,
that's why I got a good score.
to be honest, I think that's what I believe. Once you do classes, which I'm very sure from Career Launcher to Jambori, everybody's providing. Once you do that, it's actually your own effort that you're
Yeah.
going to put into the mocks. Now, once you do that effort, is when you will see result.
Okay.
That's what matters.
I think I have to put a hard stop here. Ishita, it's 1 hour, 45 minutes, one of the longest info sessions. I hope you did not feel like it's your
No,
ISB interview, which went for 1 hour, 5 minutes, as you said. But again, thanks a lot for your time. And where will you be placed in Bangalore?
no, I would be in Hyderabad post this.
Oh, perfect. You are coming in June, you said. No, July.
July, yeah.
Okay. Please ping me as soon as you reach. I am in
Oh,
Hyderabad.
you're
Yes, I'll
perfect.
catch up at the campus. Now you are an alum,
That
so you can also come to the alum bar with me, which you are not allowed to go before. Okay?
correct.
I mean, doesn't matter
Yes.
even if you don't drink, you can still enter. Okay. Thanks a lot for your time again, Ishita. All the best for your new journey. I
Thank you
don't think
so
you'll need
much.
me
Thank
again, but if you need me, please let me know in any ways. But thanks a lot. And that's it. Bye bye. Good night.
thank thank you. Thank you. All the best to everyone here.
Yes. All the best to everyone.